Hello, fashion bosses. It's me, Faith Abraham, Creative Director of Fashion Boss Innovation Academy. All right, so in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing us how to stitch this dress you're seeing right now. In our previous video, we've already learned how to cut this dress. So we are going to be doing the stitching tutorials today. I'm also going to link the video to the cutting tutorial on the comment section below. But before we begin, I would like to encourage you to please kindly subscribe if you have not, if this is your first time, and if you are a returning subscriber, we say thank you very much. Thank you for always stopping by. We appreciate you. Like this video, share it, and give it a thumbs up. So I'm done infusing my fusible interfaces. This is it. I used ST like I mentioned earlier, and the light wording, the very light wording, that light one. That's what I used, on this part. These are the sides. I did the same thing also. Okay, so how to stitch. This is the front panel. Okay, you pick one of the side panels and place it this way from the bottom. Okay, from the bottom you start stitching from the bottom. Please kindly follow your notches. Okay, we notched the under bust, the bust points, so follow your notches. It keeps you in check and it's like a guideline. Okay, so you're going to stitch using a 0.5 to stitch it this way. You stitch like this and you stitch up to this point. Okay, then when you are done stitching this, you pick up the second piece. Okay, the second piece, you place it on the other side and then you stitch it, okay, to the top. So that's how to stitch the front panel. One side to the middle panel on one side, and then the other side panel to the other side of the middle panel. That's how to stitch. Then for the back panels, this is the back panel. Okay, this is the back panel. This is a zipper allowance space. Okay, and these are the two side panels. So you carry one of the side panel, you place it on one of the zipper parts, on one of the middle panel, and then you stitch. Okay, using a 0.5 inch or any allowance, number of inch allowance you've made available. So you start from the bottom, okay, and then you stitch and you stitch up to the top. You reach out for the second side and you stitch to the other parts of the back panel, starting from the bottom this way, and then you stitch upward. That's how to stitch. Okay, and then you do the same thing for the lining. The same way you are going to stitch the front is the same way you are going to stitch the lining. Okay, so after stitching the lining, you use it to turn the main fabric. Hope you understand. But when you are turning, you don't turn the neck line because it is a turtleneck. So you don't turn the neckline. You leave the neckline like that, unturned. Okay, but you turn other parts, the sides, because it's a turtle neck. Hope you understand. If you do not, please drop your question on the comment section below. Then when you are done stitching the upper bodies, you reach out for your skirt panels. This is a skirt panels. I thought I was going to infuse soft stay to the pieces, to the panels, including the lining. Okay, So we are going to stitch them now. This is the front panel. Okay, this is the front panel of the skirt, and this is the lining to the front panel of the skirt. I'll place my lining this way. The front part of the lining on the front part of the main fabric. Okay, just this, exactly the way it is. And then I will stitch to turn. I'm using the lining to turn the fabric. Okay, so place it this way, and then you sew on the side using a 0.5 inch this way to the bottom. You turn to the other side. Okay, and you also sew using a 0.5 inch. You sew to the bottom using a 0.5 inch, and then you turn it inside out. You're not going to sew on the waist. You won't have to turn the top. Okay, the top here, you won't have to turn it because we are attaching it to the upper bodies. Okay, the lining to the skirt, I reduced it by 1 inch, the lining, so that it will pull up a bit of the fabric upward on the inner side of the dress. So I reduced the lining to the skirt by 1 inch. So you should also do same to yours. So if you reduce your lining, it means if you are stitching your panels together, you are starting from the bottom. So you should start your stitch from the bottom first. Okay, you start your stitch from the bottom. That is if you reduced your lining by 1 inch, which of course I recommend you should, because it will give you a neater job. So you start stitching from the bottom. After stitching, you now then come to the side, okay, and stitch the side. Do the same thing to the other side and turn it from the waist part. That's why I said you should not stitch the waist. So that's for the front panel of the skirt. So the same thing you will do with the back panel of the skirt. And you know the back panel is in 2 pieces because of the zipper allowance. Okay, so it's the same thing you will also do. This is one panel, one part of the back panel. So the same way you stitch the front, you start by stitching the down first because you reduced it by 1 inch, and you reduce your lining by 1 inch. And then you stitch the side, you stitch the other side, and turn it from the waist. You do the same thing to the other panel. Okay, you do the same thing to the other panel, and then you turn it from the waist. Give it a very good ironing, and then we continue. So I've turned my skirt. This is it. Okay, the front and the back. I also went ahead to take my darts, you know, on the front and back panel. This is the back panel. This is the back panel. So at this point, you're going to put the front panel and the back panel together of the skirt, and then you shape it like you do your regular shaping. Okay, you shape it, and then that is that for the skirt. Okay, and then we'll reach out for the upper bodies. This is the upper body. Okay, this is the upper body. Remember I told you not to stitch, not to turn the neck. Okay, you see I didn't turn mine. All right, and this is the back panel. Okay, so you place it front side of back panel facing front side of front panel, and then you turn your shoulder like you always do to other outfits. You turn your shoulder, okay? You do it to the other side of the shoulders, okay? You do it to the other side of the shoulder, okay? You shape both sides of the upper bodies with your measurements and get it ready to be joined to the front part, the skirt part. But before you do, the back panel, after shaping and holding both sides, you have to reduce the back. You have to reduce the back to avoid any form of bulginess around the waist area, okay? So you measure, like you can use either 1 or 1.5 inches, between 1 and 1.5 inches, you know. You measure it because we are going to cut it out. This is to reduce any form of bulginess around the waist area, and then you connect it like this to the waist area this way, and then you cut this part out, and then you cut it out. This is to reduce those bulge around the waist area when you fix your zip and all of that. Do not forget, okay? And then you join it to your skirt. It becomes a dress. Hope that will not be difficult for you to do because I will not capture that in the video, okay? So that the video does not get excessively long. So after doing that, because it's a turtleneck, we're going to draft the pattern for the turtleneck collar right away. You reach out to your pattern paper, or if you want to do it directly on your fabric, it's fine, okay? You measure a straight line. You rule a straight line, okay? No measurements for this line. Just rule out a straight line. All right, this way, okay? And then just rule another one like this, okay? No measurements, no particular measurements for this right now. And then you reach out to the back panel of your outfits or the garments you are making, okay? And then you measure the neck circumference, the round neck. You measure it, okay? So we are going to measure as now. So what we have right here is 4.75, including the zipper space, because I like fixing it up to the zipper place, then take it from the top when fixing my zip, okay? It's 4.75. This is for the back panel. So I'm going to come to my pattern paper, okay, and measure out. Back circumference was 4.75. We have it here now. So the front neck circumference is 10.5. So from this line now, don't forget we measured from this line to this part for the back circumference 4.75. From this same line I will measure this way for the front neckline, which is 10.5, okay? And then you mark it, all right? And then you will extend this line. You will extend this line upward, okay? After extending it, the collar, the length of the collar we are using will be 1 inch, okay? So plus folding allowances, we make it 2 inches. So after doing this, we are going to measure our 2 inches here. But before we measure our 2 inches here, we need to come inward by ½ an inch. This way, okay? And then connect it back into the line. So we are having a slanted line right now, okay? this way. So we are no longer using this, but this. Hope you are following. All right, we are now using this. Okay, and then we'll measure our 2 inches from here. 2 inches. The length for the collar is 1 inch plus 1 inch folding allowance, ½ inch on one side and ½ inch on the other side, making a total of 2 inches. So measure 2 inches all around this way. Hope you are following. So if you have watched this video up to this point and you've not subscribed, I kindly encourage you to tap the bell so you get notification each and every time new videos are dropped. Okay, so this is for the front line. So extend the back collar. So also extend this back line where our 4.7 inch is. Okay, and then we'll also mark out our 2 inches here. Okay, this way. All right, so we're going to use a ruler and connect. We're going to use a ruler to connect the dotted lines. That's for the front, and then this is for the back. So your collar is ready. We'll cut it out and then you use it to cut your fabric. But when cutting your fabric, do not forget to add, so you can label this is the back so you don't get confused. This is the back and then this is the front. This is up and this is down, so you don't get confused. Okay, and then you cut it out. When you cut it out with your fabric, you infuse your fusible interfacing, such as you can use either a paper stay, the soft one, or air stay, whichever one you have at your disposal at the time you are working on yours is fine. Okay, so we are cutting this collar now. We are going to cut it in 2 places. Okay, cut it out in 2. We are cutting 2, or if you don't want to cut it, make it 2 pieces, you can cut it on fold. So we can just cut it on fold. Can just cut it on fold. Okay, okay, so I just realized we did the back was on fold. Okay, that's why we have the back was on fold. That's why we have 4.75. The front, I didn't measure it on fold. That's why we have 10.5. So what we are going to do right now, in order for us to be able to cut it on fold, we have to divide the front, the entire front, because it was the entire front I measured round. I measured the entire front. I didn't fold it like this. Okay, if I folded it like this, it would have been 5.25. So we are going to do it draft it as 5.25 right now. Okay, so this is a 5.25 here. It's just to reduce it. There's nothing serious. So these are 5.25. You take it up. You take it up. It's the same thing. Okay. This is to enable us cut it on fold. And then you reduce it. You come inward. You remember we came inward here by 5 inches, by 0.5 to have this slant. This slant is to enable it sit properly on the front part of the neck. So I'll just slant it in a little by 0.5. That way. So this is what we have now. Okay, so we are going to cut this piece now on fold. We are going to cut it on fold. We are cutting it on fold, and when cutting, don't forget to add allowance 0.5 here, 0.5 here. We've already added to this parts. Okay, you don't need to add to these front parts, but you have to add to this back parts. Okay, so this is the cutout piece for the collar. I told you that you are meant to cut out 2 pieces. So you place it this way, right side facing the right side. After infusing your paper stay, you know, and then you sew it down. Okay, you sew this end, and then you sew the other end, and then you turn it inside out. This is what you should have, something like this. You turn it inside out after sewing. Okay, so we are almost done with our dress. This is the collar. Okay, this is the collar. Like I haven't turned it in, like sew the inside and turn it out like this, sew the sides. Okay, you place it, you notch the midpoint. Okay, you notch the midpoint and then place it midpoint to midpoint of your neckline. Okay, and you start stitching it round. Okay, stitch it round to attach the collar to your dress. All right, so when you are done stitching the first one, you turn it inside, and then you use this remaining one to fold and stitch round again. You fixed your collar. Before we attach the upper bodies to the skirts, I'd like to first of all introduce my cape, which also represents like a string or a sleeve, a string or a sleeve, like a cold shoulder, a cape, whatever you want to call it. So you tidy up the armhole area with bias. Okay, and then having tidied up, you measure from the shoulder line, you measure to 5 inches. Okay, you know, when we are doing off shoulder, we usually deduct 5 inches. Even when you want to do a cold shoulder kind of sleeve, you know, you measure 5 inches and connect it to the armhole area this way. The same thing to the other armhole area, so that will stand as a guideline for you to know where to fix your string or your cape or whatsoever. You can drop on the comment section what's best to call it. So I already cut out the string. Okay, so I'm using 60 inches because the client that owns this dress is on a smaller size. She's a size 6, so I'm using 60 inches. So if you're working for a big size, you may likely have to, you know, increase the length of the string you're working with. And then I'm using 60 by 8 inches, 8 inches width. When I unfold it was 4 inches. When I open it became 8. Okay, and then I use ½ inch to, I stitch it with ½ an inch on the inside, and then I'm left with 3.5, as you can see. Okay, so 60 by 8 inches, get that. So if you have watched this video up to this time, I encourage you to subscribe. Do not go without subscribing. So this stitched part, I've also ironed it properly. This stitch parts, I'm going to locate the midpoint of the string so that everything is properly aligned. Okay, I also give it a slant at the tail end. So I locate the midpoint on this seam parts, and then I'll place it like this, the seam parts. Okay, I'll place it like this on the 5 inches line that we drew out, and then I will sew. I've not attached the fabric, the upper bodies, to my skirts or the down bodies yet. So it's after attaching this string or cape, I'm going to attach the upper bodies too, because if I attach, I'll find it a little difficult fixing this. Okay, so I'll place it this way. I'll place it this way. After you must have tidied up your armhole with bias. Okay, so I place the string this way. Okay, and then I'll sew it down using either a 0.25 inch or a 0.5 inch. I will sew it down. After sewing down, I will now turn it this way. Okay, you see, I'll turn it this way. I would not like to top stitch because it's on the front panel, so we don't have too many stitches, but I'll give it a very good ironing. I'll sew it down, and this is the string. Okay, and then for the back panel, we are also going to do the same to the back panel. Okay, 5 inches down, 5 inches down, and then this one for the back panel, it has to be in, we have to make it 2 pieces. Okay, because of the zipper allowance, so I have to cut this to make it 2 pieces. So I'll fix one this way on my 5 inch. I'll fix one this way, you know, the same way we fixed in the front. We sew it down that way, and then the other one on this other parts. Okay, this way we top stitch this part so that it relaxes very well. This I'm going to sew it. I will place it like this. Okay, place it like this. Okay, let me use it because I've not cut that. I will place it like this and sew. I'll place it like this close to my zipper allowance, my zipper, and sew. After sewing, we'll now turn it like this. So this is what you should have using the string that is meant for it, and then you top stitch, yeah, for it to relax properly. You do the same to the other piece and you are good to go. Your dress is ready. So you attach it to your skirt, you fix your zipper allowance, and our dress is ready. So if you know this tutorial has been helpful to you, kindly like, share, give a thumbs up, and then we'll see you on our next video. Okay, so you attach it to your skirt panel and your dress is ready. All right guys, thanks for staying tuned. We love you. See you guys on our next video. Do not go away without subscribing. If you have any concern, any confusion, please drop your question on the comment section below and we are going to respond to your question ASAP. All right, bye for now. I remain Fashion Boss and you also remain Fashion Boss. Okay, bye for now.